Today on our 2009 Smart 4.2, we're going to be doing an install and also taking a look at the CURT Custom Fit Class 1 Trailer Hitch Receiver. This offers an 1.25 inch opening. Its part number is C11020. Here's what the hitch is going to look like once you get it installed in the vehicle. It's going to follow right along the bottom of the exhaust nicely. The only thing we really had to take off the car was just the serpentine belt shield here on the side. Drill a few holes and you're ready to put it in. It's going to give us a pretty nice clean look. As you can see going across here, it follows right along with the exhaust. 1.25 inch opening. It's going to take any of the Class 1 or Class 2 hitch pins, hitch pin locks, anti-rail devices, whatever you want to do there. We've got safety chain connection points. Now, with this being a Class 1 hitch, it's going to have a 200-pound tongue weight rating, 2,000-pound gross trailer weight rating, so you're probably not going to do a whole lot of hauling with this setup. And also, you got to refer into the Smart Cars owner manual to see what its tow rating is. Not a lot of suspension under the back of these cars, so you might be limited to a pretty light capacity. Just go off of whichever ones of those are the lowest. But our safety chain connectors here are great for the extra support we need on some bike racks and things like that. And overall, the custom fit design is nice and clean looking. Now, a couple of measurements that will be important in selecting your bike rack, ball mount, or maybe cargo carrier. The first is going to be from the ground to the inside top edge of our receiver tube opening. We've got about 6 3/4 inches. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of our bumper, we've got about 4 1/4. Now, where we're going to start with this installation is right here on our passenger side. We've got the serpentine belt cover. We're going to go ahead and remove that. There's a couple of fasteners right here, and also one right up here in front of the shock, a little harder for you to see there. But they're just a really, really big looking push pin fastener essentially. We just kind of use a screwdriver, trim removal tool or something, and just kind of see how that center core is starting to work down and out. We want to just kind of work that down. And then with some slack in it like that, we should be able to kind of bring the rest of it down and out too. You see it just comes out, just an extremely large push pin fastener there. And then our second one's going to be just on that other side of the shock from you. It's kind of hard to see, but there's really no other way for you to get in here. So, all right, and with both of them removed, that'll just kind of come down and out of there. That's what they say anyway. There you go. Now we'll set that aside. Now, there are going to be a couple of bolts that we need to remove. They're kind of a weird looking bolt head. The socket that you'll use is going to be a 14mm 12 point. This is located just to the passenger side of our exhaust pipe hanging down here. There's also one located on the driver's side in the same spot. All right, that's going to come down and out. Now let's get the one on the driver's side. All right, now with the two of these out of the way, we're ready to grab our hitch. Now we're going to lift our hitch up into position. It's a great idea to get an extra set of hands to help you hold it. And what we're going to do is take that bolt that we've just removed. That's going to go through the very front, or I guess rearmost hole on our hitch, and right back into the hole we took it out of. To get it up there though, we need to kind of tilt it down, allow it to go up and over. Now we can take our long bolt, lift our hitch up, and go ahead and get that threaded in. Now, just in front of the bolt we just put in, there's going to be a hole in our hitch, but no hole in our frame. So what we need to do is just mark that location on the passenger side here. All right, now we can pull that hitch back out. Now the hole that we've marked, it's time to use a 1/2 inch drill bit and drill it out. All right, now let's get our rotary tool with a carbide bit and enlarge our hole to allow enough room for our spacer block and our bolts to go up through. Now once that's enlarged enough to where our spacer will freely slide through, And also our bolt head will pass. That'll be all the larger we need to go. So we'll take just a little more off that one edge and we should be good. All right, perfect. Now let's head over and take care of that driver's side. All right, now with everything passing through as it should, we'll get our hardware in place. Now let's take a quick look at our attachments points. We've got the one here in the back, that's where we remove that long bolt. We'll be reusing that. We've got the one here that we enlarged, and the one just in front of that. Now we're gonna bring one of our fish wires through the hole in the front and allow it to come out the enlarged hole. We're then gonna put our spacer block into place and then thread on our carriage bolt. That spring acts almost like a nut that's gonna hold it. Then we can feed our spacer block right up and into the frame and then follow that up with our bolt and then pull that and allow it to come out through our lower hole. Now with that one in place, we'll take our fish wire off. And this time we're gonna do a reverse pull method. So we'll slide our block on before we put it in anywhere. And we'll thread our bolt on there. Our bolt goes in the hole first, push it in to give us plenty of room, slide our spacer block in, and then pull them down just like that. All right, with those in place, let's head over to the driver's side where we'll do the same thing. Now in our second hole here, we need to put a spacer in. It says to do it after our hitch is in place, but we found that it's kind of difficult to do it at that point. So what we do is just use a piece of tape. We're just going to kind of tape that spacer over top of the hole. That way as we raise our hitch into position, as long as it holds in place, we'll be able to feed our bolt through there without having to push it back up in and really try to finagle it. Sometimes it works great, sometimes not so much, but it's worth a shot. All right, now let's get an extra set of hands and raise our hitch up into position. Now we'll just guide our hitch right up into position, which can be a little bit of a chore. You just gotta really push it up past that exhaust hanger. All right, we'll start our long bolts first, just like we did when we were pre-prepping the hitch. Now we can guide our middle bolt through the middle hole and our rear bolt through the rear. Now on our middle nut, we're gonna add a flange nut, or on our middle bolt rather, we're gonna add a flange nut. Then for our forwardmost mounting location, we're gonna add on the small washer. Once that's in place, we're gonna bring our serpentine belt cover back in. That goes over that location. Then our large washer, just like that, and we'll follow that up with the flange nut as well. With those started, let's also replace our push pin fastener here on the front side of the serpentine belt cover. And push the plug back up in the middle to expand those little fingers. Just like that. Now let's head over to the passenger side and get it secured. All right, now we're almost done with our hardware. The last thing we're gonna do is place in these two spacers on our rearmost bolt. Now these are gonna go in between the hitch and the frame. So we'll bring it up here and we'll slide it right in so the throat goes around our bolt. Now we'll take the one here on the passenger side and we'll slide it in that same spot, just like that. Now we'll take just a quick look to be sure we have our hitch centered with the vehicle. And we can start tightening down, starting with our weird little 14 millimeters here. Now we want to ensure that that spacer doesn't move as we do that, and it's tucked in right between the frame of the vehicle and the bracket on our hitch. With that one run down snug, let's take care of this side. And we can just work our way forward, tightening up our other two. Now we'll look into our instruction manual, get the torque specifications we need, and torque all of our fasteners down to the appropriate spec. All right, just like that, we're ready to hook up our bike rack and we can hit the road. With everything nice and secure, that's going to complete today's look at the CURT Custom Fit Class 1 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C11020 on our 2009 Smart 4.2.